Pioneer viewers, how are you doing? I hope you're healthy and well. The world entered the year 2024 with a big celebrations in many places. There is a very short time left before we leave behind the second year of Russia-Ukraine war. Since the beginning of the war, the Russian leadership has claimed to be defending the interests of the Russian people. However, it has never been about the interests of the Russian people, because the only desire of the Russian administration was to transition the Russian Federation to an imperial understanding of governance. So what does this issue have to do with the New Year's Eve? It is quite natural to ask this question. As we mentioned, the Russian administration claims to defend the interests of the Russian people. Isn't it also an interest of the Russian people to be safe? However, despite all the power it claims, the Russian government is incapable of ensuring the security of the Russian people. The incident that took place in St. Petersburg in recent days has clearly revealed this. So, what's happening in St. Petersburg? Let's take a look at the developments together. As the Pioneer team, we continue to bring the Russia-Ukraine war to your screens. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications so as not to miss our daily map reports and reports on the agenda. I also read all your comments on our videos. Please continue to express your opinions about our content in the comments. Thank you in advance for all of your nice comments. I really enjoy reading them. Let's start if you are ready. The Pioneer reports. Russian people recently gathered in St. Petersburg Square, one of the largest cities of the Russian Federation. The crowd had only one purpose: to have fun and celebrate a new year like all the people all over the world that had fun that day. However, there was a different situation in other countries than in the Russian Federation. Vladimir Putin, the president of the Russian Federation, had started a war 2 years ago, bringing the whole world to the brink of a major crisis. The crowd gathered in St. Petersburg also paid a price for the decision taken by the president of the Russian Federation, Vladimir Putin, almost 2 years ago. Initially, Russian citizens gathered in St. Petersburg Square, drinking and having fun. However, after a while, the police of the Russian Federation came to the square and something that had never happened before took place. Russian police officers started to check the identity cards and passports of the people in the square. When this process started, there were only minutes left until the new year. Russian citizens also reacted with a surprise to this event. Later, an even more surprising event occurred. Allegedly, part of the area was closed to the people who wanted to have fun minutes before the new year. Although local sources claim that this is a routine control practices, many Russian citizens who have previously practiced in their New Year's, participated in New Year's celebrations in the region claim that this is the first time such an event has happened in their posts on social media. In fact, it's quite normal that this incident happened, because even though the city of St. Petersburg is kilometers away from the Ukrainian borders, it has taken attacks by the Ukrainian drones several times. It seems possible to talk about the paranoia created by this situation in the Russian Defense Forces. However, this incident, which took place minutes before the New Year celebrations, brings to mind the possibility that there is an intelligence about the possibility of an attack in the region. Despite this, there were no problems at the New Year's Eve celebrations in St. Petersburg, but the problem was elsewhere. It was the heart of the Federation, that is, in Moscow. We know that Moscow, the capital of the Russian Federation, has been attacked by the Ukrainian drones many times before. Due to the New Year's Eve celebrations, security measures were even more intense in Moscow. The Moscow police were active on the streets of Moscow, both to control the festivities and to ensure security in case of an attack. However, it seems that the Moscow police failed to protect Moscow just like the Russian air defense systems failed to protect the Russian airspace. Moscow was shaken by a huge explosion in the first hours of the new year. According to reports, partisan groups living in the Russian Federation mobilized late at night. The partisans targeted a petrol station and a petrol depot. According to local sources, partisan groups carried out a Molotov cocktail attacks on this petrol depot. A big fire occurred with the attack. Both the petrol station and the petrol depot exploded several times. Residents of the region experienced a great panic due to this incident. According to Moscow police resources, the investigation into the incident is ongoing. In the statements made so far, the allegations that partisan groups carried out an attack are not given much space. However, local sources generally confirm the allegations that partisan groups carried out the attack. Experts also agree with local sources. As you will remember, the Free Russian Legion recently carried out an attack by entering the borders of the Russian Federation and called on Russian citizens to rise up against the Putin administration. Experts also mentioned that the likelihood of this call being answered is quite high. Again, according to the claims of experts, partisan groups were preparing for the sensational action. However, the fact that the Russian police kept security measures tighter than usual due to the New Year's Eve prevented the partisan groups from carrying out a large action. Therefore, the partisan groups only attacked the petrol station. This was not the only Christmas present sent to Russia. As we have mentioned before, the war does not continue on the front line. Economy, diplomacy, media, and many other fields are involved in this war. Of course, the cyber world is one of the areas where the war continues. Recently, Ukrainian cyber warriors carried out a very successful operations and paralyzed payment systems in Russia. According to reports, the Ukrainian IT army launched an operation to give Russia a Christmas gift. Ukrainian cyber warriors have dealt a heavy blow to the electronic payment infrastructure in Russia with their cyber operations. Due to these attacks of cyber warriors, there were payment problems many times during the day within the borders of the Russian Federation. Almost all online cash register systems were eliminated. As you know, Russia's economy is going through a very difficult situation. Allegedly, this one-day attack by the Ukrainian cyber warriors may have dealt a heavier blow to this economy. Of course, there's also a front dimension of the war. In recent days, Ukrainian sources have again published a report. With this report, Vladimir Putin, the head of state of the Russian Federation, was cornered. According to report in question, Kinzhal missiles, which the Russian leader Putin described as invincible, are actually not invincible because the Ukrainian army claims that more than a dozen Kinzhal missiles have been destroyed by Patriot air defense systems so far. So what's your opinion about this? Do you think there could be security weaknesses in St. Petersburg? How do you assess the partisan attacks in Moscow? Do you think the attacks by the Ukrainian cyber warriors have had an impact on the Russian economy? When will the Russian people hold Putin to account for lying? Let me know in the comments. I read and care about all your comments.